Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today. We're excited to bring you this crash course in Microsoft Teams, as many companies have employees working remote right now, as well as Microsoft recently announced that Teams and Office 365 E1 are available as 6-month free trials for any business that could use these tools to help stay productive right now. So my name is Brad Vorbeck. I work in marketing here at Turnkey Technologies, and I'll be your main presenter for today, but I've also got Mike Schramke with me, who is one of our Office 365 specialists, and he can help us answer any Q&A you may have around the functional or administrative perspectives of Teams. So please do feel free to ask us questions during the webinar today, and we'll do our best to get those answered at the end in a Q&A session. And also the webinar is going to be recorded, so we will send that out to you in a follow-up email tomorrow, along with the PowerPoint and some other content as well. So just a little bit about Turnkey Technologies before we get started. We were founded in 1994. We're a Gold Microsoft partner. We're headquartered in St. Louis, Missouri, but we have consultants throughout the U.S., primarily in the Midwest region. And we also have clients all over North America as well. We provide comprehensive solution services, including strategic planning and requirements analysis, implementation, enhancements, education, and ongoing support and maintenance for all the Microsoft solutions we support. And we offer regular educational events like this one to help support clients using our Microsoft solutions. And so we're happy to be providing this webinar today, and I hope you find the information helpful during this time of increased remote work. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to start with the basics. Many of you already know what Teams generally is, but some of you may not, so we're going to start at the top today. What is Microsoft Teams? So Teams is a chat-based workspace that brings all your real-time communications, apps, your files, and your people into one place. So it lets you use your Office 365 apps in context with how your teams actually organize themselves in real life. And so that might be related to the project, department, or whatever initiative a team may be organized around. So instead of documents being owned by individuals in their desktops or on OneDrive, or instead of everything being thrown into one central repository in SharePoint like many organizations are doing today, it surfaces all these things in the team space that it's related to, while still utilizing SharePoint's infrastructure on the back end for the actual document storage. So it really does provide everything a team needs to work together, including communications, files, and tools all in one workspace. And even as I was preparing for the webinar today and reviewing my own use of Teams, I was amazed at how well they've thought out the tool and how well everything plays together. So I encourage you to explore Teams, start using it today just to kind of keep up with what's going on right now, but also use this as an opportunity to truly adopt the solution for the long term in your organization, because it really does change the way you work for the better, especially once you fully immerse yourself in the tool. So I think a lot of you may start using it and never want to go back to the old way of doing things once you see how much this makes sense. If your organization uses Office 365, you've likely already have Teams available. Even if you don't use Office 365 today, Teams is available for free with a pretty full set of features. That's always free, but it does not come with quite all the features that the paid version comes with, which is available right now for a 6-month free trial. So there are 4 main areas that Teams delivers on to create a digital workspace. The first would be communications. Teams includes a complete meetings experience as well as chat, voice, and video. So you can use Teams for one-on-one or group chats, or you can have an open conversation in a channel that your whole team is able to see or that whole channel is able to see. And this enables people to share information in a transparent way to help accelerate decision making. And it's super easy to move from a chat into a face meeting, which helps you bridge that geographical barrier and just that digital barrier between applications, just immediately jumping from a chat to video call to whatever kind of conference you may need seamlessly and flexibly. So collaboration, when it comes to collaboration, the Office 365 integration enables your team or your employees to use the Office apps they are most familiar with, including Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, SharePoint, and Planner, and even Power BI, right within the context of Teams. So traditionally, when you wanted somebody's feedback, you would send them a file via email. they would store it locally with comments, you store it again, and it's a vicious cycle that results in possibly 3 or 4 versions that you have to jump between and keep track of just to get things done. Teams brings all of this, all the Office 365 services together into one platform so that you can easily share and actually co-author files without actually sending anything. And as far as customization goes, many of you use other services or applications other than Office 365, which probably results in you having to jump between those applications and your critical applications and your Office 365 applications to combine those into one experience. Teams is built not only to be the hub for Office 365 services, but for all the services that you may use on a day-to-day basis. So you can customize your team tabs, your teams with tabs, connectors, and bots, and include apps and services you need with a growing network of over 150 partners that are certified from Microsoft. For the developers out there, you also have the extensible platform to enable building apps and integrating with your business processes using the Office 365 or the Power Apps platform. So Microsoft Teams, as far as security is concerned, it comes with the enterprise-grade security, the compliance and manageability that comes with Office 365, and so it's enabled across your entire Office 365 and Teams environment, much like you're used to with working in Office 365. So just like how the workplace transformed from fax and snail mail to email in the 1990s, we're kind of experiencing a rapid acceleration of evolution in the workplace today. For example, while email and phone are still popular, many businesses are now using instant message, video conferencing, and internal chat forums already using things like Skype for Business. And another example I have up here is a change from sending attachments back and forth, like I mentioned, to actually sharing documents and actually being able to find those single files in one place. And also eliminating version confusion. So having one document of truth that enables multiple people to access it and edit it depending on their permissions, and editing it at the same time. And also tracking those edits by individuals so you can see who has made what and when they made those changes. And then there's the more obvious example of employees being chained to their desk, for lack of a better term, versus accessing their work as needed from anywhere or on any device. Teams and Office 365 are built to work, whether it be on a tablet, on a phone, or on your laptop, and anywhere that you have internet connectivity. So no longer are employees chained to their actual office. So as far as communications are concerned with Teams, it is supported by the new Skype backend infrastructure. So that makes Teams the new core communications tool for organizations. In fact, Microsoft is shifting the focus entirely from Skype for Business to Teams as your central communications platform, and eventually we'll be making the transition entirely to Teams as well. So any type of real-time communication is enabled through Teams, including chat, voice calls, video calls, and meetings, with email maintaining its rightful place in Outlook. So a great first step to adopting Teams in your organization is to start by replacing Skype for Business with the communications in Teams. And also Microsoft continues to incorporate new AI features into the platform as well to enhance the experience, such as live captioning for text, closed captioning when you're having phone or video calls, as well as background blur and immersive reader, and they continue to come out with more different features that are utilizing the AI in there as well. So this is one thing I just wanted to touch on. Teams does integrate with Microsoft Dynamics 365 for sales. So the customer, or for the CRM applications for Dynamics 365, you can access your Teams and Office documents from Dynamics 365 right where you're working. So I'm just curious, I'm sure not everybody is using Dynamics 365 for CRM today, but I am curious to see how many of you might be using it. So I'm just going to do a poll really quick. I just want to know how relevant this topic is for everybody on the webinar today. I'm going to launch the poll. Go ahead and let me know if your organization is using Dynamics 365 for sales, or if you're using some other CRM or no CRM possibly. And we'll give about 10 seconds for everybody to get their answers in here. Okay, so it looks like about 20% or so of you are using Dynamics 365 for sales, so I'm just going to touch on this really quick. Let's see, I'll close this poll here. Make sure you're seeing my PowerPoint again. Okay, good. So yeah, Microsoft Dynamics 365 with Teams enables you to streamline your seller workflows. For example, you can collaborate on deals. Sellers and sales managers can collaborate on deals across functions and geography with the customer information and document sharing directly from Microsoft Teams. The Dynamics 365 app for Teams embeds right into Dynamics 365 customer records, sales content, reports, and updates, all within the modern hub for chat, meetings, notes, and documents. For example, teams can share a sales presentation, then easily schedule a review meeting or a chat with just a few clicks without even switching applications. You can also create and share sales documents. So the Dynamics 365 app for Teams allows users to store and access sales documents in one place right within Teams and available right within your CRM as well. So sellers can collaborate on personalized sales documents with embedded Office 365 tools that fit the way they're working currently and all in one place. So before we dive into some tips and tricks for using Teams, I'm going to go ahead and actually dive into the application here, and we're going to take a look at some of the features here hands-on. So this is the overall Teams interface. We're going to start with the navigation. So on your left-hand side here, this is where you're going to find your major functional buckets within Teams. You've got your teams here. This is where you're going to find your teams and their channels. This is your activity tab. It's going to show you any activity related to your Teams environment. So any times that you've been mentioned or assigned tasks or anything like that, they're going to show up right here. This is your chat feature. So this is similar to what your feature would be in something like Skype for Business. It's just that IM feature, one-on-one communication, except the difference here is that Teams will actually maintain your communication over time versus you having to start a new conversation from scratch. So you can actually pick up the conversation where you left off rather than Skype for Business where you kind of have to start over each time. So that is the chat tab. The calls tab here is where you would make your phone and video calls. You could also do that from the chat tab as well. Your calendar right here, this syncs up with your Outlook calendar, so anything you have planned in your Outlook calendar would show up here as well, alongside any Teams meetings that you have scheduled. So you can easily schedule meetings working around what you currently have in your Outlook calendar. And then here's the Files tab. This is where you would find any file that you have access to in Teams. So you have the ability to upload files specifically into a team and into a channel. But say you don't want to have to go into that team or channel to find that document, or maybe you don't remember where it lives or which team it lives in, you can just go to Files here and find all of the documents that you have access to in your Teams environment and find their location as well. So going back to the Teams tab, when you create a team, all the teams are split into channels. So there is no actual functionality in this team here. It's all in the channels below it, and you can divide these up however you need to. So depending on what that team is made up of, for example, this one we called Project X. We have our marketing content, our sales content, graphics and website, delivery team, and legal team or legal channel. So these are all the various channels that these people would work in as it relates to them to store things like the communications around these topics as well as the files and tasks. So right here I've got a channel 1 called marketing content. You'll see here within each of these channels you have multiple tabs at the top. So to the right of the channels is kind of your workspace that you're in. These are your tabs at the top that allow you to move between your conversations that you're having. So this is the overall conversation tab here that the entire team can see. You can post anything from status updates, news stories. It's kind of like a social media feed right here. And then your files would be stored in the Files tab. So this utilizes the SharePoint storage, but surfaces things right where you want them in your Teams environment. So you can see I've got a folder created here for the Teams webinar today and a document stored in there. And you've also got this wiki file wiki tab by default. This is sort of like a OneNote open text field where you can put thoughts and notes and just open text comments about things, or maybe perhaps brainstorming or planning. It's like a whiteboard that you can work from. And then also up here, you'll see that you've got the ability to add things to this, or add tabs to this. So that could be other Office applications or third-party applications like I mentioned. One tab that I often add to our team channels is the Planner tab, because that enables you to assign tasks to people using the Planner functionality as it relates to teams. So we'll get to that more in a second. So to create a team, it's actually very simple. You just come down, once you're in the Teams tab, you just click Create Team here. All you have to do is basically fill in these required fields, build a team from scratch, public. I'm going to create a team really quick that includes Mike Schramke, our Q&A specialist for today. So the first step is to create the team. Now I'm going to add members to it. And these members will have to be either people set up in your Office 365 environment, or you can add people to teams using just their email address as well, but you will have to have them added to your team's environment to see them here. So I've added Mike Schramke to our team. I'm going to click Close. And it really is that simple. Now you can see there's a new team created. Mike Schramke is the only member in the organization who has access to anything in this team. And by default, the first channel you see here is the general channel. That's sort of like your virtual water cooler, if you will. Like I was mentioning above, it's your complete feed, giving you all the details about what's going on in the whole team. And then within this team, we can easily create as many channels as we need to, so separating it by different functions within the team. I just like to use basic things for this example, like content, research, what have you. Okay, so it's really that easy to create teams and channels, and keep in mind that a team can be created around whatever you need it to be. That might be a department, so your entire marketing department could have a team with channels for website, graphics, sales collateral, you name it. Or that could be for a specific project, or perhaps a product that you're bringing to market, and you have various teams working on that in concert with each other. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to post in the Conversation tab. It's very simple. Like I said, it's just like posting on social media or something. All you do is go down to where it starts, type your message, attach a file if you'd like to, or attach an image or a GIF if you'd like to, and just click Send. What's great about this is you can do everything in this area as well as the chat area that you can do in Outlook, but with well, I shouldn't say everything, but a lot of the functions that you do in Outlook can be done in real time using the Teams chat. So you can attach files and send them here, where they're going to live in this space that's sort of an ongoing thread for everybody to access. So I'm going to send a personal chat now. So if, say, I wanted to send an IM to Mike Schramke, I would just go over here to my chat tab. I already have one open with him from yesterday, but all I would do is find my contact and initiate the new chat with him like so. And just, I'll say, hi, Mike. And he's going to receive this immediately with a little ping, and he can respond immediately. So as you can see, this is real time with much more functionality than you would get out of a simple chat with Skype for Business. And also from here, I can call him, so I can turn this in from a chat into a call or a video call right from here. Right now, you see my video is faded out, and that's because I don't have a webcam hooked up to our remote desktop. But I'm going to switch to our production environment shortly so I can show you the video calling feature as well. So let's actually go ahead and do that. I'm going to switch over to my actual internal Teams environment, because this is where I actually have a webcam set up. So as you can see, this is the Call tab in Microsoft Teams. You have all your contacts here. And if you have the phone calling feature set up, this requires an additional calling plan with your Office 365 environment to have the dial pad here. This enables you to dial outside of Teams and actually use a phone line to make external calls. For the domestic calling plan, that is $12 per user per month, and for the international calling plan, that is $24 per user per month. So the calling here doesn't come standard in Teams, but you can easily call people that you've added into your team's environment. So I'm just going to give Mike a quick call here. Okay, Mike has answered the call. And if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to share my video with him, I can just click the camera button here. You can see my video in the corner in the bottom right down here. And there are also some cool features. So you can't really see it very well, but Mike sees my face full screen. But if you're looking in the bottom right corner where my face is showing up, you'll see that I have the ability to do blur my background. This is an AI feature from Microsoft that automatically recognizes where my background is in the outline of my body. As you can see now, you can't really see what's behind me so well. And even as I move, the outline will maintain the shape of my body unless I start moving really fast and keep that background blurred. So you can have meetings anywhere, even if it's not in an office that you would deem or in a space that you would deem appropriate for a meeting such as this. Okay. So in addition to that, you can, it's not showing up here, we don't have it enabled in our current environment, but closed captioning can easily be turned on right here as well. So let's say I couldn't hear Mike, or I needed to mute him for any reason, or let's say I had a disability and I needed to actually see what's going on or what's being spoken. I can turn on closed captioning live as well, so I can see what's being said in the conversation in real time. So now I'm going to show you how to upload a file into Microsoft Teams and also how to co-edit documents as well. So I'm going to go into my team that I created earlier. We're going to go into Channel 1 here, Marketing Content. And I'm going to go to my Files tab. And so for this example, I've already created a folder and a document. You can create as many folders as you need, just like using SharePoint. And I also want to show you, so here's the document I've uploaded already, but it's also this easy. Just to create a document, all I have to do is click New, Word document, name it, and right here within Teams itself, it's going to create a Word document that I can work from. So like I said, all of your Office applications function right here within Teams, enabling you to work on them without even leaving Teams. That said, you always have the option to open whatever you're working on in your desktop app as well if you do prefer that experience. So that's how you create a document very easily on the fly. As I said, you could just upload a document that you already have created from your desktop or OneDrive using this button here. And really quick, I just want to show you how cool it is to co-author a document at the same time. I'm going to go into this document that I have uploaded, and I'm going to ask Mike Schramke to write in this document at the same time as me. And we're going to co-author this together. Mike, do you want to go ahead and go into that Teams document? It's in the Team 1, Channel 1 Files tab. So here I am editing the document within Teams itself. Once Mike gets in here, his icon is going to show up in the top right, letting me know that he is in this document as well. And I'm even going to see his cursor in the document itself, what he's doing and what he's working on in real time. Mike, are you there? Can you hear me? There he is. So as you can see, Mike is typing right there, and we're seeing that happen in real time. Now, this is just a standard Word document. This could be an Excel document. It could be a PowerPoint. But whatever anybody's doing, you'll see their little initials here and what they're working on. They can also add comments to the side. And pretty much almost anything you can do in the desktop version of Word, you can pretty much do here. Not quite everything. So there are some occasions where you'll want to open it in your desktop app. But I would say for 99% of your functionality, you're going to be able to use it right here in Teams and work with people in real time. Now, if I wanted to work on this in my desktop app, I have that option. And any changes I make, when I click Save, it's going to send them, save them back to this exact document in Teams. As you can see, everything Mike already added is here. And Mike can work on this simultaneously in his Word document, and any changes that he makes are going to be saved back to Teams as well, and I'll have a view of any changes he's made since that last upload. So I'm going to save that back. I'm going to close it. We're going to click Resume Editing here, and you'll see my changes show up. So you can always edit documents in real time and co-author them in real time, but if you're working from your desktop app, you won't be able to see exactly what they're doing in real time. So now I'm going to show you the meeting scheduling feature in Teams. If you go to your calendar tab here on the left, this is where you would go to schedule a meeting with somebody. And this integrates with your Outlook calendar, like I said. So anything that you already have on your personal Outlook calendar is going to show up here, and you can navigate around it. You can you can schedule a team just by clicking the space you want to schedule it in, or you saw in the top right corner there, you could click New Meeting and do one that way as well. I'm going to add Mike Schramke to this meeting. Now, once I've added him, I can use the scheduling assistant to see his schedule alongside my schedule and find what times throughout the day would work best for us here. So you can see I'm going horizontally across this row. Mike is going horizontally across this row. And I can choose our time by columns here. So that makes it really easy to see who's available for that meeting, everybody you need on it in one view. So I'm going to go ahead and send this meeting to Mike. And you'll see that it now shows up on my calendar here. It shows up on Mike's calendar as well as in his Outlook calendar. And then also you can schedule meetings from your Outlook calendar as well by having the Teams app integrated with Outlook. And all you'll have to do, if you've used Skype for Business in the past, you simply create an Outlook appointment on your calendar just like you would for any other meeting. And in the top section, you're going to see a button for Teams. And as soon as you click that, it's going to add the Teams link and the information there, as well as put it on your Teams calendar and whoever's Teams calendar that relates to. So it's seamless back and forth between the two, and really easy to use whichever one you prefer there. So now I'm going to show you how to create and assign a task in Teams. I recommend organizations take advantage of this functionality. You don't have to use the Planner tab in your Teams channels, but we like to use it internally here. It especially helps with keeping track of deadlines and making sure projects are moving towards their desired milestones. And so here you can see I've added the Planner tab. I called it Project X Marketing Plan because this is our marketing content channel under the Project X team. I've assigned 3 different tasks to myself, which are in various stages. As you can see, I had one from 3/23 and 3/24. Those are overdue, so you see this red marker here. You can identify tasks that are overdue very easily. And I can also let my team know, okay, this is in progress, I am working on it, and give them sort of a status update on that as well. So to add a task, all you really have to do is name it, task 4, set due date. I'll make this for Friday, and I'm going to assign this to myself again, or you could assign it to another team member and have it show up for them. So I'm going to click Add Task. As you see, there's my task there. So you can add tasks, like I said, with the Planner tab as it relates to each channel and team. So you can have your tasks in the actual channel buckets as it relates to. So let's say I've got tasks related to the marketing plan for this project. I'm going to put my tasks here. But let's say I wanted to see where all my tasks, or maybe I forgot which channel or team the task lived in. I can always go to my actual Planner application right here in Teams. Now this is my Planner application, not the Teams Planner application. And so I'm seeing all of my tasks in my buckets the way I need to see them here. And so this is where you can access any task related to any project or team that you're on and work from just your single personal view. So that's pretty much it for the demo. It really is that easy, but I'm telling you, once you get in and start using these features, you'll be amazed at how powerful they are, as simple as it seems. And once you get, once you get used to the layout and get working quickly with the tool, which really doesn't take long at all, like I said, I think you're not going to want to switch back to the old way of working. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the tips and tricks slides. I want to show you guys a couple tricks with Teams before we move on. Make sure you're seeing my PowerPoint. Okay. So the first tip I have for Teams is to utilize your video capabilities when you're doing phone calls and team meetings. And I know a lot of you are going to gasp when I say this because you're probably thinking of all the different remote work fails that you've seen on the internet of people leaving their webcam on when they didn't realize it or what have you. But as long as you get comfortable with using the video functionality, or if you're not confident enough, just go ahead and use a webcam cover or something when you're not using it. But I do highly recommend this because it does help increase engagement and accountability among team members in meetings and in phone calls. In fact, Microsoft conducted a 1,200 person conferencing study, and the single objection that came up the most was turning on a webcam. And that indicated that people clearly plan to multitask, and but using a webcam creates that sense of presence and personal connection, and it's just a really useful way to sort of replicate that in-person experience that you're not getting by working remote. And so using these tools together, the audio, the chat, the video conferencing can round out your collaboration really well. And the key here is maintaining involvement and face-to-face contact despite being in the same room together, literally. Another tip I just wanted to let you know if you're going to be using your video functionality is the best practice for using camera framing. So just so you guys know, in case you're curious, apparently 2/3 up the screen is where your eye line should be for the perfect frame for a webcam meeting. So just a little tip there. And so for communicating in these online meetings, it can be hard for people to find the space to speak in a meeting or get their say in during a conversation. Everybody's kind of speaking over each other because they're not in the same room. When you're having your online meetings, make sure there's time and opportunities for all voices to be heard. Make sure you're monitoring the chat panel or you have somebody there to monitor the chat panel because that can help alert you to either things that weren't made clear or perhaps there could be an audio or video issue going on that you may not be aware of. And also have fun when you're doing or when you're utilizing Teams and working remote too. You know, like I said, you don't have the proverbial water cooler that everybody gathers around at the office in these environments. So you can create those spaces in your Teams using the conversation tab. Obviously doing these things with respect to your company's culture and respect to your company's policies as far as the types of things you choose to share as far as news or whether it be something funny or what have you. So take a quick break to find some respectful but fun content to share with your teams and just kind of lighten up everybody's workload and give time to connect on a personal level as well. And the last tip I want to give you is to think about accessibility when you're using Teams. Turning on live captions, for instance, helps with people who may be hard of hearing, allows them to be able to read what's going on, or maybe people have to have you muted for whatever reason. They can still keep up with what's going on in the meeting. And also, some of you may or may not be aware that there is a check accessibility button at the top of most Microsoft Office 365 applications. This will do a review of your document to let you know if you're doing any practices that may not be user-friendly to somebody who may have a disability. For example, maybe you're using a color scheme between fonts or headings that can't be distinguished by somebody who may be colorblind. So it checks for things like that to make sure that your document is user-friendly for all cases. So I just want to go through really quickly about the free versus paid versions of Teams. Of course, the paid version is available right now for a 6-month free trial. In the middle column, you'll see the free version there. This is always available for free, but there are some limitations to it. You'll see that it only has 1 gigabyte per user of storage and 10 gigabytes of shared storage. It's limited to 300 members per organization. And also, you'll find that you cannot schedule meetings on your Outlook calendar or record meetings or do actual phone line calls or audio phone line conferencing calls using the free version as well. With the paid version, which is available for the 6-month free trial, it comes with 1 terabyte per user of storage, so practically unlimited as far as you're going to need most likely. Unlimited users per organization, and of course you can use the meeting scheduling features and the meeting recording features, although with the phone calls and the audio conferencing, even with the 6-month free trial, you would need the additional phone call plans for that to be working. So here's some additional resources from Microsoft Teams if you want to learn more. I've included in the first box there, you'll see the Microsoft's webinar, similar to this one, but a little bit deeper and a little bit more technical on how to use Teams. So if you have an administrator in your organization or somebody on the IT side who's interested in how to set this up or how it works with your infrastructure, this is a great webinar to watch for that. Microsoft Learning course is in the second box. That's the official learning course for Microsoft Teams. And finally, in the third box, we've got a recording from Microsoft Ignite, which kind of gives you an update on what's been added to Teams lately. So here's how to sign up for the 6-month free trial. You simply fill out the form at the link that you see here, or you can just reach out to us via email, any contact method that we have, or follow up with or respond to the follow-up email tomorrow. And once you do that, we will send over the Microsoft CSP agreement if you haven't already signed it to add you to our Microsoft partner portal, and then we can easily get you signed up for the free trial with as many users or and their emails as you need, up to 300 members. Or no, I'm sorry, unlimited if you're doing the 6-month trial. So reach out to us, or if you have a CSP partner already, they can set you up as well, but Turnkey would be more than happy to set you up on this free trial if not. And the last thing I wanted to draw to your attention, if you use Microsoft Dynamics GP, which it does look like a lot of organizations on this call are using GP, we have a new managed services plan for GP called Turnkey Total Care. And this basically offers you a reduced predictable cost for your monthly GP support needs. So if you find that your organization is using things on a regular basis, such as support incidents, Scrum meetings with our consultants, annual training, or optional other optional add-on services that you'll see on the Turnkey Total Care page, this is a great way to take advantage of a reduced rate for these routine things that you may already be doing in your organization with Turnkey already. So if that's something that you might be interested in, feel free to take a look at the page there on that link, and we can have a conversation with one of our specialists if that's something you want to learn more about and dive into.